Recording.
Check it,
Boom,
check
boom.
it, check it.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom,
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
boom, 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 boom.
Movement of the people.
Welcome to Exodus Nation.
My brother.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
We are back once again for another hot episode.
Yeah.
Here, let me get rid of the music since I thought I did, but I did not.
Shoot, we was about to have
There
a
it
party.
is. We was about to do it. How you feeling, man?
Feeling real good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. It was an unexpected week for me. Definitely an unexpected week. How's your week? Let me start there because I might overtalk this one.
My week. Week went pretty quick. Week went real quickly, man. It was a couple different challenges came up. There's multiple birthdays and, from my daughter to my mother-in-law and my grandmother, there was a couple events that, popped off, within the family, Work was crazy. So, I'm at the House of Refuge right now, though, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with you, man, the sanctuary. Ready to get the worship on.
Church. So things came up. I know the day before my niece's birthday, you had her get on the phone with me.
Oh, yeah. That was the first things that came up for sure.
She told me that there's little racist boys at the school calling her out of her name.
Right.
Racial slurs.
Right.
Some white powers thrown around.
Right.
You knew that was going to affect me. I know you knew. That's why you got me on the phone that night.
Yeah, hey, it was so funny, man, because I thought, that we were going to get it out of her and, change her, at least what her narrative into the conversation was, because, she brought it to me as her birthday was Monday. Mm-hmm. And she says to me, Dad, I don't think that, I should go to school tomorrow. This was Sunday evening. I don't think that I should go to school tomorrow because, there's going to be a protest at the school and, I don't think it's going to be safe. And, of course, I'm, saying, okay, well, what's the protest about? I didn't hear anything about a protest. And she going to tell me about, some racist boys down there in the welding class of, the career center was, just pretty much going overboard. There had been, ever since we've been in school, and it's been nothing new to, be called racial slurs or to even exchange racial slurs because, I come from a place where mama said, they hit you, hit them back. So,
Right on.
I never been, shy of throwing a stone or two. Especially when they were directed at me at first. But, so she goes on to tell me about a situation where one time her and some of the other girls, and she's in the cosmetology class. So you've got welders, cosmetology class. I think one time they both came out. She was telling me about both groups exiting the class at the same time. Guest class was over. And this one particular one that actually, I guess he's got a few infractions because he's alleged to, stir up trouble, racial type of, stuff and slurs and, just stuff. But I guess he says, what are you niggers looking at? And my daughter respond back with, some comments of her own. So, she told me that she kind of felt abandoned by the rest of the group that was walking with her, though, because, they just kind of put their heads down and kept it moving. And which, I can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? These are the welding class guys, they're there to, something else. And, my daughter's always been a fighter, though. So she's always been, she's stuck up for neighbors. One time I remember a little guy was getting bullied and he was getting harassed, and he was a Hispanic or an Asian brother.
Asian. And I forgot it was a boy. Yeah, I thought it was a girl.
No,
he was a boy.
He was a little boy today, was just, dogging out and calling all kind of, little racial things. And she stepped up and said, no, it's not right, and had the whole, had the police and everything come because of that. So she's definitely been known to stick up and stand up for people that, don't really know how to raise their voice or maybe too scared to raise their voice. So, of course, she replied back, and this had actually happened a few weeks ago. This wasn't really, you know, that didn't happen right at that time. But when she said it, you know, I had asked her personally, you know, were you involved in any of these type of, you know, racial situations at school? And so she, you know, told me about this one particular one. So after she told me that, I said, okay, so you're protesting, huh? She said, yeah, is there going to be a protest happening? I said, well, who's, you know, leading the protest? And, you know, she didn't really want to give me too much information, but that's kind of when I got you on the phone and was like, yeah, bro, we'll walk her to class. We'll make sure, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that, calling bro was the wrong person to call.
Hold
you know
on.
what I'm saying? About
why is it the wrong?
You know,
Wait a minute, you said wrong?
At least, no, it was the right.
Wrong
it was
person
the,
to call?
No, it was the right for me, but it was like, oh my goodness, these the nigga calling the news and everybody. What's going on?
All right, okay. First of all, before I even really got involved, let's clarify. This little girl was doing everything she could to keep us away from that school. She was like, I don't know what's going on. Come here at 8 o'clock in the morning. None's happening at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I believe she knew that. Now, okay, how far is Fairfield from me?
I'm still thinking it's about 15 minutes or
15-minute drive. Okay, so I'm just now realizing, because technically it's the Fairfield Eastland Career Center.
Right.
Which to me always meant they were one, and I figured that's the same campus as maybe different. I don't understand how they did it. Now I finally get it. Fairfield is in Fairfield. They just share the name in Columbus.
Yeah, it's expansion, right.
Yeah, I'm sure for school monies and stuff like that. And there was protest at the Fairfield Career Center at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And you and me was ready to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. Next
morning,
morning,
at the wrong school.
No school protest.
We'd been at the wrong school, right.
Now, on the other hand, because of the noise that, you know, Unc has to make noise now, because now I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Somebody's messing with my niece. I can't just sit back by and say nothing, do nothing. That's just not me. Something's got to be, I got to find out some info. She's not giving us the info openly.
Right.
So I'm going to go dig the info. So what I ended up finding out beyond her school, Fairfield's protest.
Yeah.
That actually occurred for 2 days. I'm not even sure they had a third day. They were supposed to have 3 days of protest.
Then they stopped classes or something, didn't they?
I have reached out. A couple parents from Fairfield have reached out to me, honestly, and I got to check back in with them. But from what they told me, Monday in Fairfield, not my niece's, not your daughter's career center, but
not
in
Eastland,
Fairfield, they protest. And somehow the welding shop boys from Fairfield were the issue as well. They started spitting on their fellow classmates.
Man, that's terrible.
I'm being told the vice principal saw it. None of the boys were held accountable.
Wow.
Now, when you take sitting by and watching this student spit on another student, nothing happened, and you say, let's just go ahead and smooth it over and make sure everything stays peaceful the next day, that doesn't work. What ended up happening was because they got to spit on those students that night, those same kids started circulating a post around social media telling their friends, tomorrow, bring shotguns, Confederate flags. The next day, the spitting began again. People found out about the post. There were some cars searched, 2 guns found.
Wow.
2 students arrested.
Wow.
That night, Fairfield is contacting parents telling them, don't worry, they were just BB guns.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're not allowed to be on school grounds either.
Weapon is a weapon.
Weapon's a weapon.
Weapon's a weapon. And so, anyway, long story short, what proceeded was 3 young ladies from Eastland decided that they were going to put the protest together for Eastland. And I told them they got our support. They were very grateful for that. They were very grateful.
That's cool.
What I'm even more thankful for is because of my rage, I went off on a tangent that night. You saw the post. I wrote the post, and I stand by my post. That's what it is. We had a lot of people in Columbus respond, and I felt definitely a certain way because it was personal to me.
Right.
Normally, I'm just trying to step in for the voiceless. This is my niece. And that night, I mean, I was honest with you. It brought me to tears just wondering what kind of abuse she's facing.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to do something that I can't do because these are kids to begin with.
Right.
They're not grown men,
Right.
even though they're about to be. They're 17, about to be 18 years old and coming out in the world.
And this isn't new, man. So they've at this stage, you know, especially the juniors and the seniors, they've been through at least something or they heard of something. My daughter comes from, you know, our household,
Our
so
stock.
Our stock. So she, you know, she knows, man. She's
Right.
been briefed. She you know, she'll tell you she don't want to watch Black Wall Street no more. You know what I mean? So, you know, she understands what's going on.
I'm gonna tell you this much, as far as you saying, because what happened was, because she explained it to me, I had picked her up. That was the next day, I think.
Right.
I picked her up from school. She got sick, and because y'all partied on her birthday,
Yeah,
which I actually missed because I was here on the phone getting an army.
We
set
told
up.
you, come on down.
I got an army to set up. My niece,
Right.
no, this is not party night for me.
Right.
This is strict military right now.
17th birthday, baby. You got to be there.
I'll be there 18 for sure.
All right, for sure.
And hopefully I won't be protesting her
Yeah.
school and when she's 18.
Yes.
Anyway, so what proceeded was, as I'm contacting all these people, there are people who are ready. They're standing up. I finally figure out who the 3 main young ladies are that have gathered this protest. Before I picked my niece up for school, I had an hour-long conversation with an officer who was sitting outside of her school because of this.
Right.
He broke down so much information to me, a whole bunch of information. But one thing that stood out in my mind,
Yeah.
the young lady who put together this protest, he referred to her as the ringleader.
The ringleader.
The ringleader.
Like the watchman on the wall? Or?
To me, like the gang coming
Okay.
to the ringleader of the gang.
Oh, man.
He immediately, it was like one of those, what do they call them? Freudian slips. That because he caught him, as soon as he said it, he realized, because I told him, my niece is one of the kids involved, and he realized, I don't mean to say ringleader. I mean more like the head organizer. That's not what you meant, but that's what you were supposed to say.
Right.
You need some classes,
Yeah,
homie.
you blew it.
Yeah, you blew it. Now I see you. Okay.
Right.
So from that point, pick my niece up. We talk. She tells me what happened. She told me that when these kids came at them like that, she was standing up for everybody, herself and everybody.
Yeah.
And her friends, her clique, walked away. They abandoned her to stand alone while she's standing for everybody. Now, what you said to me was you can understand why they wanted to go about their day, do their business, finish out school. That's what they're here for. I think that's why you feel like you can understand.
Yeah, well, most people, I just know that, you know, a lot of people teach their kids to stay out of trouble. And if you can walk away, just go ahead and walk away. Don't make a big deal out of it, and, you know, it'll die off quicker. And I just, you know, I just know that, you know, that from maybe not this situation because I wasn't there, but, you know, if I had to guess, I would say that was.
I'm going to tell you this much. I had a couple guests. You know, I had a couple guests here this past week. Malia Hill, who was one of my guests, Downtowners co-founder.
All right.
She went to Eastland Career Center.
Oh, okay.
She had family business she had to handle this week, or she would have been there with me. She was highly upset because that's her school.
Yeah.
That's her school. And then when I told her about my niece being abandoned and feeling abandoned by her clique, that upset her a lot. That upset her a lot because people ignoring it, walking away from it, that means the next person who's weak is going to get targeted. If no one's standing up, they know they can target people.
Right.
They know that.
Right.
To me, my niece said, "You can't target us. I'm not going to let you target us."
Right. Somebody's gonna stand up.
I'm irritated that she can't have that support though from her own peers.
Well, maybe that was the beginning to what's happening now. I mean, because the other 3 girls, they kind of organized and, you know,
Finally,
yeah, they organized and, you know, got a good, you know, even actually got your support and, you know, just to help out. So
they to me they did. They're not trained
right.
activists. They
Right,
don't.
right.
They haven't really prepared for any of this. They just wanted
Yeah.
to make some kind of change, and I understood that. And they were happy about the support they were getting. I'm pretty sure that the school may have gotten wind of it. If they didn't, what happened that Tuesday, the day before their protest in Fairfield, that put the school on high alert.
Good.
The girls have released a video showing a confrontation at Eastland. And what they did, the school pulled them, all 3 in the office, and had them remove the post because they said, "You're bringing more attention than I think you're ready to bring." I'm not sure exactly how they said it, but the girls removed the post. The school then said, "We want to support you. We want to make a comfortable, safe space for you guys to be able to implement some kind of change. Talk to us. What can we do?" So the head organizer, that was called the ringleader, me and her talked about it. She felt some kind of way about activists coming out there and what repercussions we could possibly bring to the students if the school took out their anger with us on them.
Right.
That got me to thinking. And I knew the girls were a little shaky. They didn't know what to do. I didn't want to put them in the position. They're students. I didn't want to put them, my niece, anybody else in a position where their schooling could be hurt or affected. They could be punished for our crimes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that to them. So not immediately, I take that back. You were probably one of the first people to say to me, I think you should go ahead and pull back.
Right.
That made me feel some kind of way. But I listened to what you said, and I said, let me get all my ducks in a row. Let me make sure everything's
That
here.
is not what happened.
That is what happened.
He listened to me and he said, no. He said, no. He listened to me. He did listen. He was right. He listened to what I said. But he listened to me. He was like, nah, I don't think that's going to happen. And this is why that's not going to happen. And I was like, okay,
That's my immediate reaction. See, you leave that part out. His immediate reaction was,
okay, I didn't know we were on first, seconds, or thirds.
Going into the afternoon, I had my group meeting. That's why I had to leave you that day. I had to go because I looked at my watch like, oh, man, I got group. Right. I need to be in group because I need to get some of this out, right?
Right.
So I go to group, and, of course, Adrian Hood, who has become a major influence in my life.
Kind of like a mentor, maybe.
Yes, sir. Right. Yeah, definitely. Right. She's the first person that brought it to my attention that I'm about to deal with a school outside of our district of the city. And I didn't know that because what I didn't know, when we were kids, Eastland was part of Columbus City Schools.
Right.
But then they got rezoned. And I didn't know about the rezone. I'm an old man now. I'm out this. I don't have kids going there. Right. So I don't know much of the facts. But now I find out it's not even Columbus City. So the people I had that were getting ready to go to Columbus City School Board, they were ready. They had letters. They knew who to contact. All of a sudden, I had to talk to them, and they're like, okay, we don't have power now because we are not involved in the Fairfield or whatever school district it is that Eastland's involved. Anyway, I'm realizing that we got to come at this another way. At it another way. And not only was Malia a help, Adrian Hood a help, but DeJuan Sharp, who was here with us that day, Downtowner co-founder, he even said to me, man, we got to make sure that these girls do it by the books. They got to come to the school with a list of demands for the school to deny before we even step in ourselves.
Right.
I'm listening to everybody. Finally, made a call to my buddy, Lieutenant Melissa McFadden. And after she heard the situation, and she's been to law school, she heard what could possibly happen and what could possibly be the repercussions of. She asked me to talk to a lawyer.
Gotcha.
A real lawyer. She said, don't just take my word. I want you to talk to a lawyer. I don't want you in any trouble. After all this was said to me, thinking about the kids more than anything else, honestly, I don't care about getting in trouble. I had to pull back for the kids, most definitely, because they were so nervous. They were asking me how many people are coming with you. I didn't know. We could have had 10. We could have had 20. We could have had 30, 40 people, honestly.
Right.
And I already knew that we didn't have an exact location that was public that we could utilize.
Right.
And we can't be on school property. So the school, like I was saying, the school went to the girls. They said, let's do this another way. They also changed it to where they weren't really going to be doing a protest.
Right.
And the girls didn't really want to protest. They wanted a rally, but they just didn't understand the language.
Gotcha.
They called a protest for a protest. They really wanted a rally. They really wanted to rally up the students together so they could stand together and organize. Long story short, which we're past that, they ended up rallying, and then they ended up splitting all the black kids off into 4 different groups with 4 different leaders to where they could sit down, put on pen and paper what they feel they could implement at the school that would solve the situations that they're going through. I had people coming out because, of course, even though I called off the protest, I still got to be there.
Right, most definitely.
I already told the girls I'm going to be there.
Right.
No matter what. So, anyway, they called off the protest. They re-rallied it. They have 4 groups where they're sitting down. There were administration coming out of the school telling me, hey, they're doing great. They just separated into 4 groups. Everybody's working. They're talking. It's moving.
Right. That's exactly what they wanted to have happen. Anyway,
I'm like, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of noise didn't have to become a large noise.
Right.
Some things were handled. I felt the support of the community ready to back us up for my niece. That was overwhelmingly beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And to have my new homie, Dewan, look, he asked me, he said, so what exactly are your plans? And I said, look, my brothers don't want to rush to school. They want this to de-escalate. They want me to de-escalate what's happening.
Most definitely.
He said, okay, so you're going to be there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, they're going with you? I was like, nah, we're not even coming up there in force. He's like, okay, but you can't go alone. So he's like, nah, I'm going to be there. He's a West Sider. He's coming to the East Side to make sure I'm not alone.
Yeah,
and
shout
stand
out
up
to
for my
Dewan.
niece.
That was cool, man.
That's what we need in this community.
Right.
You know, and the support that I felt, just that's what we need. So I was very thankful for that. Even though it started bad, I think it ended good. I made relationships with the head of security there, Groveport Police, the vice principal.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
All asking me my niece's name, which they're not getting. Nope, I don't know.
X.
It's okay. Exodus. But no, that's to me, that was a great feeling.
Right.
Even though the protest was canceled, I still feel things were being handled. They weren't being swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And now the school knows, the community will come out.
Most definitely.
If y'all don't listen to these kids and work with them.
And your niece knows. You know what I mean? Don't cry wolf, because, you know, don't do it. You better not.
My niece did not cry wolf.
Better
y'all.
not.
Okay, just so you know.
Better not.
My niece did not cry wolf. But on the other hand, don't call for support at all, because we do that. And if you're not ready to see 30, 40, 50 people out there,
right,
don't do that, because that's what's going to happen. We're going to respond. We're not leaving you hanging.
Well, it's funny, man, because I think a lesson that I had previously was actually I actually lived it during this situation here. And it's funny because I never understood it, but I've got a cousin whom I won't say his name. And I remember one time that I went over his house, and he was telling me about a story about my uncle and a partner that my uncle brought up from South Carolina, and how they were over his house, and there was another gentleman down the street, and he was a black family, and all these other guys jumped him, and they were in a predominantly white neighborhood on the west side, and they sat and they watched. And I remember when they told me that, I got furious. I was like, y'all sat and y'all watched. How did you sit and you watch? I said, this week it was him. Next week it could be you. You know, and I was just getting on him. And then my uncle pulled me to the side, and he was like, hey, Todd, you got to chill out, man. He said, they live here. They got to live through this. They got to live here every day.
Right.
We could start some stuff, but then we going to go back home.
Yep.
So, out of respect for him, we didn't do anything. And at that time, I understood it. And like I said, as we was going through this thing here, and I was hearing different things, and, just seeing the perspective from my daughter, and then seeing the perspective, from what it looks like the girls was, and just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We ready. And we know that this time right here, me and you've been having the conversation on maybe 3 different shows about the lack of de-escalation.
Right.
The lack of de-escalation, and not everybody doing it. Nobody wants it. People want to get turned up. They want to push the button, but most times, that is not the most logic thing to do. Right. Especially when it's so close to our heart. So,
and like you said, the people that you were talking about have to live in that neighborhood. These kids got to live in the school almost. Half of their time is in the school. And we're just now getting back to schools. Yeah. So to come with this and I knew the force that could come out there. I know the force. And definitely when you've asked me before, do I not feel that we should try to de-escalate sometimes? Now we finally have a situation where, I'm definitely willing. Not only am I willing to escalate it, like I told you, escalation is good as long as you can control it, and it was controlled because we escalated it. People were ready, but then when it was time, we could de-escalate, and control how far it went. So it's
the over-escalation that actually gets,
exactly, and people who are not out
boils,
there,
baby.
It's bad. So, so everybody knows. Again, I appreciate the support we got. I appreciate everybody who's told the story, wanted to help us, and I appreciate everybody standing down when it was time to stand down.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's what
discipline.
soldiers do.
That's discipline.
Exactly. Love it.